games, these sit in a dark room at night and go out of their way to like, how are we going to make people?
Whoa, can't say that on a podcast.
Good morning.
Another glorious morning. Makes me sick.
Good morning, my neighbor.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the
Ready Set Radio Show.
Good morning, apartment. Good morning, doorway. Morning wall. Morning ceiling.
Hello, loyal listeners to the Ready Set Radio Podcast 80 show. My name is Floaty. Sitting over there is the Beard. Over there in the booth, like a Bluetooth speaker, stuck on a playlist entitled Party Mix 1987, is the JDubs. And Beard back for round two.
Round two.
To talk about the 80s again. David Hutcherson, how you doing, man? Welcome back.
All right, thanks for having me.
You know that your episode is one of our highest viewed videos that we have on our entire channel.
Really?
And I don't know if it was the...
I don't think...
Today we're trying to prove that it was the conversation and not our wicked wig hairdos. So we're going to prove to the world that we can get those numbers with you without wigs. But we're still going to talk about the 80s.
Yeah, the rest of that extra... experiment means we have to wear wigs with somebody else.
We should do that. Yeah. So thank you for coming back onto the show.
Thanks for having
me. We don't want to get too far into things because we know that JDubs wants to talk about a local friend and share some respect.
I think it's worth a shout out, man. What do you got?
Yeah, I just wanted to give a shout out to Nicholas Doss. We lost a really good friend and a really good, an amazing musician in the Triad, and I wanted to give him a shout out real fast. And I know you're gone, but you're not forgotten, buddy.
All right, this is to Nick, man. You were an awesome dude to me for every time I met you and every time I hung out with you.
Likewise.
Great bass player, man. You'll be missed. And while we're on that subject, we just found out this week that Daniel Williams from...
It's been a tough week, dude.
The Devil Wears Prada died in a plane crash. And that was... I told the story on the podcast before, but I hung out with him after a Prada show for like 3 hours, and I told him I was mad because they didn't have hats at their merch table, and he took my address and had his merch guys ship us a whole bunch of free swag, just because he was such a cool dude. That was my experience with him, and everything I've heard, that's how he's always been with everybody, so huge loss. And Dave Shapiro also was on that. I think there was 4 other people, and I'm sorry, I don't know who they were, but, that's just how life is. I don't know who else was on with Kobe and his kid either,
Yeah.
But, yeah, rest in peace to those guys, or rest in power, I think we're supposed to say these days.
Yes. Sure.
And now on to the fun stuff. So, last time we spent a lot of time talking specifically music. I mean, we did touch on other things, but I've been jonesing to talk about movies, and not like favorite movies, but there was a big shift in how movies were made and why they were made. In the late 70s and all the way through the 80s and to today, and it's like the blockbuster picture. Because before that, if you went to the movie in your town, chances are there might be one movie that's shown anywhere else, and then a couple of local independent films that are like your region, your coast, your state. Movies did not play all over the world, all over the country before then. And then it started happening, like I think Jaws, they considered Jaws the first summer blockbuster movie because it showed in so many theaters, and it was the first time there was a basically nationwide moment that everyone experienced, that everyone could talk about, had theories about, or whatever. But what are some of your favorite like blockbuster movies from the 80s, like Back to the Future and things like that?
Yeah, that's one right there.
And I want to talk about some of them, but I know mine, like Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
That's one too.
Breakfast Club.
That's another one.
Breakfast Club will come out later in the show.
Is there a particular rating that we need to stick to, or any 80s?
Any 80s.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, because horror for sure needs to be talked about. I wore some Jason Voorhees socks because the 80s horror movies are some of our bread and butter. All of us, I think, we all like them.
Yeah.
And the 80s was a big boom for horror movie, but that had a lot to do with movies becoming so much more popular and nationwide releases and blockbusters. Like if Friday the 13th only played in Burbank, we might not be talking about it now. But because there was a platform for horror movies to be shown and up to a broader range of places, we all love slasher flicks to this day.
Oh, yeah.
What are some of your favorites? You're into horror too, right?
Yes, I am. And the thing I like about the 80s is that there was a story there. It wasn't so much like the torture porn that some of them turned into. The Saw movies. You know,
Yeah, I
it
thought
started
it
out
was
very
really
strong,
cool the first time, but then it
and
just
then
got
it just
old real
turned
quick.
into basically torture porn. And
Yep.
it was,
And I will still see all of them, but they did get to a certain point where they stopped being great.
right. It's like the final
they got
destination.
they got a few good ones in there, but and
I definitely see a niche for that genre.
yeah, I still love those movies. I watch them, but like as far as being story driven, they're not. They're not really a horror movie. It's just
How can we shock
If you like kill scenes, that's your brain.
Because that's all it is. There's no story.
Yeah, no real story. Just it's
Right.
like porn dialogue
Yeah,
with
it's
horror.
not there's no substance.
I think
Well, like the first one of Saw is there's this great story. There's a great reveal at the end.
Huge twist. Yep.
Yes, there's some, gruesome things, but that wasn't what drove the movie.
No.
So
got
as
to the
far
point
as
where that was what drove
that's
the
what, yeah,
movie, so,
exactly.
Yeah, the movie had the plot and then added the gross stuff to it, as opposed to being like, I got a bunch of ideas for gross stuff. Think you could swerve a little marky mark in here?
You wanna know
No, it
what's-
was Donnie. It was Donnie Wahlberg, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You want
Wrong
to know
one.
what's funny? Speaking about movies doing that kind of thing, I've read recently that like the newest action movies do these kinds of things way different. Like Mission Impossible, for example.
Ooh, been hearing bad things about that movie.
Tom Cruise. Well, I haven't seen it. I haven't.
You don't
seen
talk
it.
bad about Tom Cruise.
I'm not.
But from what I understand, the way these movies are made is Tom Cruise comes up with this crazy idea for a stunt, wants to do the stunt, and then they write the movie around
They
the stunt.
write the movie.
and then he gets hurt doing the stunt, and then has to
Well, of
perform the
fucking
rest
course,
of the movie.
dude. Have you seen the stunts he does?
I know they thought that he
They're
died on this one
mind-boggling.
because he did this drop from a rope, from a hot air balloon or something, down a rope to this big boulder thing attached to the rope in air, and then when he hit it, his harness broke and he went like flipping out underneath the bottom of the barrel or the boulder, and apparently they thought he died for a second. But yeah, Tom Cruise he's a crazy guy, man. He loves doing his own stunts and he likes doing the hard, dangerous stuff.
Yeah,
I
hanging
want to
on
know
the
what their
sides of airplanes and-
What do you think their insurance is for those movies with him, man?
Oh, ridiculous.
Like it's got to be in the millions, right? Like the tens of
gotta be,
millions,
yeah.
maybe even hundreds of millions.
It has
maybe.
to be.
Who knows?
Because it has to do with his net worth
Can
as
you
well.
someone Google that? I'm
JDubs, I think that's a JDubs
I'm
job.
definitely
That is a
interested.
I don't think that's above my pay grade.
Just
That's
Google-
a lot of words.
Google how much was the insurance for the Mission Impossible Final Reckoning, I think it's called, or Last Reckoning, or Reckoning, I don't know.
It's
much
the
did the
final
insurance
reckoning,
cost?
but it's not even the final movie necessarily.
I thought the last one was the last one. It was Dead Reckoning, wasn't it?
It needed to be.
I haven't seen any of them since like the third one because, that's not my kind of movie.
The third is actually my favorite. 3, 4, and 5 are really good. After that, it's like all movies.
I just never have bought Tom Cruise in those kinds of roles because I grew up watching like Cocktail. You know what I mean?
He's a little too pretty boy,
Like
too.
he gets to about Top Gun level and that works, man, and it's awesome. But that's about it for me. If he goes a little bit too international spy, diving off of planes and stuff, like it's just not believable anymore, man. I'm sorry. You've had
gets
too many
more and
awesome
more
roles
ridiculous.
where you were, lame.
Okay. All right. Let's play a little game. All right. The
right.
beard. What do you think was spent on the insurance?
Are we?
I'm going to say 50 million. 50 million.
Okay. Floaty.
I'm gonna say 221,073,824.
And 37 cents.
Yeah, 2
All
bits.
right. And David?
I'll split it and say 100 million.
Okay. You guys are all off by a long shot. I think you're going to be blown away by this, actually.
$12.
He said he didn't need insurance. No.
I'm one take Tom, baby.
He said, I'm Tom Cruise. I don't need insurance. No, it was between 2.9 million and 4.4 million.
Okay.
Shit.
I was wondering if it was like per picture. My number
Now-
was really like studio. I thought like
It's based
how
on-
much was Tom Cruise insured for?
It's based on 3% of the insurance on the premium of the film's budget. Now, do you want to guess the film's budget? Beard.
Oh, God.
Oh.
That's got to be $141 million.
That's. I think maybe I want to use the same number again.
What was the number?
50 million?
I'm gonna say $170 million.
David?
Probably more.
I'll go with 150.
$291 million budget with an additional separate $57 million.
Does that happen to divide that budget into where the money went, like graphics and sets and actors and all that stuff? Does it happen? I don't care to look it up. If it's there, I'd like to hear.
It's not.
All right, that's whatever. I'll
It's
look it up.
not.
I was just curious.
Nice
like,
job, JDubs.
Thank you.
That was a good job. Yeah, give yourself
That
a
was
button
really well
or something. There we go.
Yeah.
That's all I got. Moving on.
Damn, you could have gave yourself a banger ring and you didn't.
Yeah.
All
We're
right,
not on that screen.
80s movies. So blockbuster movies from the 80s, like horror movies from the 80s. What were some of your favorites?
So horror for me, Nightmare on Elm Street.
That's my absolute favorite
my
series
favorite.
of all time. Me too, man. Freddy Krueger is my guy. Until, well, I don't know, man. Art the Clown's pretty badass too.
Yes.
I like Art the Clown, but he's not 80s.
Yeah,
But it's an
not
80s
80s.
style movie.
It is
80s
very
style
much.
movie, but definitely not 80s.
But Freddy Krueger's my guy. And it's funny that Terrifier, Art the Clown, is opposite, where he doesn't talk. Mm-hmm. And Freddy won't shut the hell up, which is why I love him, because he's always got a quip and like some smart ass comment before he guts you.
But at the same time, Art has those smart ass little.
Yeah, he does.
like,
He
the
does
way
like mime shit. Yeah,
like,
yeah.
He has a lot of the body. His body.
He's definitely playing with his victims. Like I love
yeah.
that about him. Again, not 80s, but Night
80s inspired.
Nightmare on
Yeah,
Elm
very
Street.
much so.
Robert Englund, man. I was a huge fan. I was Freddy Krueger a number of times for Halloween. I had Nightmare on Elm Street posters. I'd cut them out of Fangoria magazines and stuff, and I wouldn't put anything else up for the most part. I'd put up Freddy, and I'd put up anything that was like Poltergeist, because I liked that movie too.
Oh, that was a good movie.
But I had one whole wall that was almost covered of all Freddy Krueger pictures, because he was just my dude, man. And that's all I. When I first got into horror, the first few years, that's probably all I watched, unless my mom was watching something else. But if I was picking,
He was a badass villain.
yeah,
It
he's
was-
awesome, dude.
yeah.
I still love those movies. You were more of a not Freddy Krueger guy, right?
Yeah, he just didn't
You like
do
the
it for me,
silent
man.
guys, dude.
I mean, overall, out of the slasher ones, I'd probably have to say that Jason Voorhees was the guy.
Yeah, he's awesome.
But there was always
No talk, all action.
yeah, dude,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I love
like
that too,
I like
but-
Michael Myers too, but like he just didn't seem to. I don't know. Like he went after the same person all the time. It just seemed weird.
Yeah, I like that. The differences in the movies that's why Freddy was such a good idea, because there was not a lot, but there was most of the bad guys in horror films at that point didn't really talk at all, and then Freddy hits the scene and he won't shut up, and like it's totally different. And Johnny Depp first movie, and like one of my favorite, I don't know what you want to call them in this episode, deaths in horror movies is that bloodbath from the bed. Mm-hmm. That's one of my favorites of all time. But that was actually one of the last Nightmare movies that I watched, because when it first came out, my parents wouldn't let me watch it. And then we started watching them at 2, 3, 4. I just never got around to it until like 5. And then I finally went back and watched the first one.
Isn't it interesting that they would put out movies that were rated R and movies that weren't like geared for kids, but then they would release action figures and toys for movies that kids shouldn't be
For
watching?
kids. Yeah.
Well, there was a lot of toys in the 80s in general that were...
Because they'll tell you what they think, but there's money to be made. So you know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, lots of fanged, figures, lots of like musculars, lots of big weapons and 80s toys and stuff.
Yeah.
And here, go outside and pretend to your friends is what they were telling us, man. Then we had Nerf guns right behind it, super soakers right behind that.
Lawn darts.
Yeah, lawn darts, dude. Oh my God.
You just mentioned something of the past.
Did you take a lawn dart to the
Going
foot?
outside.
Oh, going outside.
Yeah.
Going outside.
When you could safely go outside.
Now it's like, can I take my tablet into the pool?
Yeah.
No.
No.
I don't know. Some iPhones
Yeah, no,
are
do it.
waterproof.
That
now,
is
so-
true.
iPhones are waterproof now.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, for sure.
Some of 'em are,
Some
yeah.
of them are.
What?
Yep. You didn't see the video of I forgot what rapper it is. He drops it in a fish tank and then like picks it out and like goes back to his call.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I had a waterproof watch in the 80s.
Yeah.
True that. Was it a Seiko?
No, I'm sorry, water resistant.
Water resistant. Yeah.
Was it a Seiko?
They made
Get wet.
There was a waterproof one, but like it had this clear plastic outer casing that made it this big, and then you had to you couldn't read it because the water bubbles would get in between the plastic, and it wouldn't stop. It was definitely waterproof, but the case wasn't. So there'd be like bubbles and fog or smog on the inside of the
Smog.
smog.
Get it together, man.
Watch me where I put my beer, Doug.
Watch me where I put my
Got
beer.
him.
Watch me where I put my beer. Watch me where I put my beer. Beer. So I'm going to go away from the horror genre real fast and bring up a B-side movie that probably not everyone...
B-side movie?
Yeah, like B
In the
movie.
80s?
Oh, I was like,
B-list
what's a
movie?
B-side movie? That's like a double feature?
Yeah. How many of y'all have seen the movie The Wraith?
I don't think I have.
Oh man, I believe it's Charlie Sheen's first movie.
Yeah. Well,
If I see it, I might know if I've
yeah,
seen it or
it's
not.
close
It's
to
about
it,
the
at least.
car. It was the first rendition of if you pay attention to the storyline, it's the same storyline as The Crow, except involving racing.
1986. I have not seen
That's
that.
a good year.
And wait till you see the car. Chrysler put out a car. It was a prototype for this movie,
So it's like Maximum Overdrive?
mixed with The Crow. Yes,
Oh, cool.
he dies and then comes back, and he's in a suit.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah. Well, I just said it's like
No
The
need
Crow.
to watch
You're
it
a
now.
wizard, Harry.
So yeah, there's that. Which brings us to like, share, and subscribe.
Yes.
Hey, don't forget to follow these buttons.
Don't click right on the screen. It's down there.
I mean, click on it. Click on it twice. Maybe that'll like it or something. I don't know.
Hey.
I don't know.
Can we get it to where they can click on the screen?
I don't know. I don't work for YouTube.
Not true that.
Google it.
Watch me where I put my beer.
Man,
What about non-horror movies?
non-horror movies.
Blockbuster.
Blockbusters. Like, I always go straight to Empire Strikes Back. I think that's one of the first ones, especially because it was a sequel. It was proving that
That was early 80s. They came out in like 80 or
80,
81,
I think
right?
it was 1980, yeah.
Yeah.
1980 it came out, and it was one of the first movies that proved to the big film companies that there could be such a thing as a franchise.
Right.
That you could build on an IP and build a story and keep going and have sequels as long as it was good or not, or as long as it was good.
Yeah.
And it was proving that.
Had to be good.
It also proved
Not
that,
anymore.
yeah, that's true,
No, that's fair. They did make a lot of stinkers, but
man.
being good helps.
What about the original Supermans?
Christopher Reeves.
Yeah, Christopher Reeve, man. Those are some of the classics, man. You had Richard Pryor and all types.
Well, yeah, but that was based off of an idea that had already been written out.
I mean, I like
Star
those
Wars
movies.
wasn't like that.
Yeah, true.
I'm not a Superman fan, but I love the first three Christopher Reeve Superman movies.
Well, what about Indiana Jones?
Love Indiana Jones. That kind of ties into it. It's the exact same thing. Like it was another blockbuster. Steven Spielberg was literally looking for his next summer blockbuster, and George Lucas was like, "Well, I got a story, and if you'll sign on to do 3, I'll let you have it." And then so you got George Lucas and Spielberg together. Writing
Making some of
and
the
producing, and
Best
directing.
movies to ever happen to
Yeah.
humanity.
The first 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they have, and both of those, George Lucas and Spielberg's movies, Jones and Star Wars, have gone through roller coaster phases of being good and being shitty.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
true that.
Yep.
But Tom Selleck was actually supposed to be Indiana Jones first.
I heard that somewhere. Yeah.
You say it, it sounds like I knew that.
He was cast or like thought of.
He was
and-
thought. I can't remember if he was cast or thought of, and then
Yeah.
something came up and he couldn't do it.
Right.
But I think that would have been a mistake.
Watch me.
Watch me where I put my beer.
It's right there. We need a button. We're gonna have to make a button.
We're gonna have to take the audio from this episode, and make a button that'll watch me where I put my beer.
All right, so
Then
let's
turn
talk
it into some house trap music, dude.
Watch me where I.
Done.
I want that done by the end of the episode, Dubs.
Yeah, thank you, JDubs. I look forward to hearing this.
So before we leave movies, I didn't actually we didn't talk about the cons of the blockbuster movies. So as movies got more popular and they were doing wider releases and you're having these big nationwide and then international blockbuster movies, there was hardly any room left over for the small filmmakers, the independent filmmakers that were able to take their movie around to theaters.
Yeah.
Same way a band goes on tour is how they kind of did it. Like, I have this movie,
Yeah.
I'm going to take it to Seattle and have them play it for 2 weeks. I'm going to take it to...
Between social media and the internet and the fact that blockbusters aren't making the same money that they did at one point for a whole bunch of different reasons.
Yeah, people don't go to the movies like they used to, but they still go out for those
think,
big movies, man.
I think independent film is making a huge comeback in a lot of ways, and I mean, even to the point where like it's just fun to do, to get together with your peeps and make a movie. You know, like you have an idea and somebody comes up with something you want to make a movie. We've done it several times.
Yep.
It's a lot
Small
of fun.
scale, but yeah, we've done it and we're going to do it again.
Yeah. So like
Spoilers.
And because of social media and how easy it is to take video and pictures and then the way TikTok presented itself was like an avenue for storytelling, and that's what most people use TikTok for, is some sort of storytelling. A lot of them don't
It's what we're doing
use
right
their
now.
own material, but like, so yeah, like I love the idea of being able to find independent films on a like an even smaller, tighter budget. These people they're making movies that only take 30 seconds, but it's like it's just a quick story and it's entertaining as hell and it keeps you sucked in. But like, yeah, it's just exciting. I'm interested to see where it goes from here.
So I've got a little bit of news. You guys want to guess before we get off this topic what the most expensive 80s movies was?
1980s movie?
Yes, of all times. I think you're going to be blown away by the answer.
I think no, that was not the 80s. That was 1990.
It's not. I'll give you a little hint. It's not who you think it's not who you think it's going to be.
Okay, then.
Well, then just tell us.
No, hold on. Highest budget movie of the 80s.
Yes. Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
Damn it, dude. I was like Zemeckis, dude.
$50 million.
How much was Back to the
there was
Future?
my
Like
number.
30?
I wasn't prepared for a follow-up question.
Oh. Then you should have just made a damn number up and pretended like you knew what the fuck you were talking about. This is called acting, son. That was fun. So David, do you think that the dawn of MTV took the priority away from good music and put the focus more on an image and a look and a style?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and do you think there was like do you think that there were some artists that stand out as like the prime examples of this person mostly got famous because of their style or attitude or look or style of videos, like
Skid Row.
I could agree with that. Poison.
Well, you get these good-looking guys, and they're rocking. I mean, they have good songs.
Yeah.
But
Tight
they have
pants.
the image.
Tight pants.
They have the image.
Yeah.
And that started, not that their music couldn't have done it.
Yeah, and I don't think it's just about image, though. I think it's about everything other than the music specifically.
Like good videos.
Good videos is a piece of it, but like I think it goes even further than that. I think it could go all the way to the name of the band and like
Absolutely.
the things that you think about when you hear the name of the band and what that means for that band's image.
Warrant.
For example, Steely Dan. Like, you see what I'm saying? The fact that you laughed, even though they're amazing, is exactly what I'm talking
Does everyone in this room know what Steely Dan is?
The band?
Where the name came from, right?
Oh, I don't know where the name
Why
came
don't you
from.
share with
But I
everybody?
just mean like the name Steely Dan.
You brought it up. You got to go ahead and share it now.
Yeah, Steely Dan was named after a dick, a fake dick, from a book. And it was a book that was published. I can't remember the name of the author or whatever, but in that book, they referred to this hard phallus as the Steely Dan, and that band took their name from that.
No shit.
Absolutely true.
Oh,
You want to Google the specifics, but that is
please do.
true.
Google
How did we
that.
just stumble upon this gem, dude?
I just found out about it, I think, yesterday.
And I just so
I think I
happened to
did.
bring it up
You
right
did.
now. Holy
And I was like, oh, wow.
We're on to something. JDubs, let us go.
I literally heard that.
You my boy, Blue.
I want to say
That's
that.
why you listen to this podcast.
I want to say that Craig told me.
Nice.
What up, Craig? I know
What
you're
up,
listening.
Craig?
Thanks for the party yesterday. That was pretty fun,
You
man.
could have put it in the comments.
Craig, man.
Craig.
It's Craig.
Hey, Craig, can I borrow your microwave?
Off the rails real quick there.
What about pros? What are some of the pros that MTV had on the music industry, you think? Specifically.
Exposure.
Yeah. But what about for like us? Like variety, but like was there not enough variety on the radio? Did we really need to see these ugly people every week? It was exciting, right?
It was exciting.
Very exciting.
I
Remember Headbangers Ball?
good or
yeah,
bad,
we
I
could-
enjoy the fact that I can find a visual something to go with the music that I love.
I'm a big fan of that too.
MTV is why I learned how to play guitar. The earliest memory I have was seeing Eddie Van Halen do a pinch harmonic on his guitar, and I was captivated by it. I wanted to know how he did it.
Wow.
And that's what started my journey in music.
So yeah, being able to see something to go with the music that you hear, whether and most of the time it wasn't live performance based. It was some weird visual that didn't have anything to do with the song.
I generally liked the videos that had a real good mix of both or all performance because I wanted to do that. I wanted to be a rock star and I wanted to be able to play in a band, and like the more I could watch other people do it, I could learn how to do it.
How did that work out for you?
Not fucking well, guy. Welcome to my podcast, bitch. I used to play music.
That's wild.
And now I talk about music. Eat your heart out, Steve Harvey.
Called out Steve Harvey too. Hell yeah.
Like, share, and subscribe, please. I heard him. Oh, he's trying to buy time. Like, share, subscribe. Like, share, subscribe.
My God.
Well, while he's laughing his butthole off, David, you got some favorite music videos of all time that you can think of? I know my number one from the 80s is Living on a Prayer by Bon Jovi. That album and that video was the thing that I was into when I was 6 years old, for sure.
See, I actually preferred the videos like that where it showed them in a live performance.
A big arena concert, yeah.
Right, instead of those cheesy storylines.
All the Bon Jovi videos, like them flying around on wires and stuff.
If we're going to
When they
talk
used to be
about
fun.
I thought every rock show was like that for a while.
If we're talking about music videos from the 80s, we have to talk about Thriller. Have to.
Yep.
Have to.
Yes, we do.
Absolutely.
Man, what a great video. I loved that video because the full version of the video, not just the musical portion, is like, it's a little mini movie, man. And like, it's got a plot twist to it. It's got the music video, great graphics.
Yeah, it's got the story. It's got the...
And it's got the dance.
Yeah.
It's got the dance.
The dance. Yeah.
The dance.
And then Vincent Price's...
Vincent Price.
Yeah, dude. That whole bit and...
Man.
And there was... like,
And at the very end...
If I'm not mistaken, that video is like 15 minutes long.
Yeah, it's pretty long. I think it's 12 or 13. I don't think it's 15, but it might be. Google it.
Somewhere in there.
I like this. Google it.
Yeah, somewhere in there.
Make
But,
us smarter, Dubs.
I also know that it was revolutionary for its time. Nobody had done anything like that before, and that's one of the reasons why. It was one of the things that made Michael Jackson the king of pop.
Yeah.
Right.
It was,
like you said, it's a mini movie. It's not a music video.
And he was able to take all of these aspects and put it all into one thing, and it was like 12, 13 minutes long, and it was...
Yeah, it was 10 minutes, or it's 10 seconds shy of 14 minutes.
Right.
Yeah. So that right there was the 80s version of TikTok.
Yeah.
Was MTV videos, as far as I can tell. Like it's, you know, I mean, obviously our attention spans have gotten shorter, but like that doesn't mean that the quality of what you find in such a short period of time has to be low.
No. It was a consistent source of like information too. Like sometimes you wouldn't even know a band had a new album coming out till you saw a video on MTV.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this is a new song.
Because once videos started happening like that, that was how
That's how they introduced it.
Yeah, that is probably the latest, to this day, the latest update of the music industry. That was the last time they updated the music
Would
industry.
you guys like to know the budget of Thriller?
Hold on.
Oh,
12 million.
Yeah, I bet that shit was up there.
All right, so you got 12 million, the beard?
I was going to say 9, but yeah.
9 million?
Yeah.
David?
It's like $5.
10.
In comparison, 500,000.
Was it really?
Yeah, it's 500,000. So in comparison, you damn near right.
I mean, it really was just like some rubber silicone and some dry ice. Like, that's really all it was. Some makeup.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Was it Landis filmed it, right?
Yes.
Yeah, Landis was the filmer. And I remember that was the first music video I ever saw that they released a behind the scenes for. And they had a whole documentary on the making of that music video. That made it even cooler, like knowing how they did the skin bubbling and all that stuff and the nails growing.
Around that time, the normal cost for a music video was only $100,000.
Damn.
only.
Yeah, so that's 5 times a month.
You know what I could make with 100 cans right now?
100,000 bad choices?
Yeah. It would be a literal stack of paper, dude. 100 grand.
100 grand? Let's go to Dave & Buster's. I hear they got virtual reality now. Oh, man. Where was...
Is it about that time?
Yeah.
Almost. I want to...
Oh, wait.
Let's tie up MTV real quick.
Yeah, let's do that.
So I think we all agree that, like, there's positives for MTV. Like, it helped to create a central point for a lot of people to get their pop culture shit.
Yes, but I also believe it was a catalyst for the downfall of society.
It altered the industry focus, like, from being all about...
That's 100% not what I said.
I feel they had a really good idea. I feel they had a really...
Period.
Right over it, dude.
Yeah.
Period.
They had a great idea, but money is power.
Money is power, and it changes everything. And it took away our music videos.
But
and
to
we
be
got
fair,
Snooki instead.
I think that if MTV still existed as it did in 87, 88, 89, none of us would be here doing this podcast. We'd be at home watching MTV.
Yeah.
Because that's what we did.
Well, if you have satellite and stuff like that, they have sister channels that do play nothing but music videos.
Yeah.
But even with that, man, like it's still selective.
I was over at Phoebe's house one night watching their dogs, and they have those kind of channels where it's music videos all the time.
Yeah, what were they doing?
They were out of town. I don't remember.
No, I was talking about the dogs. You were supposed to be watching them.
Oh, they were sitting like good dogs, and they weren't being buttholes.
I know they're dogs.
I love those dogs.
They are not.
I love those dogs.
Still not be butthole dogs.
And, Ellie's my favorite, but I don't have a favorite. But it was like this. It was channels like MTV used to be, where it was nonstop music videos, and then they were doing like an hour of Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, and like 30 minutes
What's
of
wrong with
Fleetwood
that?
Mac. Nothing wrong with that.
I didn't like your tone.
You don't hear the positivity.
I didn't like your tone.
Hold on, let me try again. Dude, bro. I was over at
That's much
Phoebe's,
better.
dude, and we were watching these music
That's much
videos,
better.
right?
Yes.
A whole hour of Tom Petty, dude.
Hell yeah.
None of the old stuff, just
Yeah,
good. Yeah, dude.
Much better. Much better.
Before we go to commercial, trivia question. Out of these 4 Arnold Schwarzenegger movies, which one does he say is his favorite? Terminator 2, Kindergarten Cop, Jingle All the Way, The Predator.
Wait, who says they're
Arnold Schwarzenegger, which is
None of those
4.
were what I've heard him say was his favorite movie.
Yeah, jingle all the way.
It's Kindergarten Cop.
Oh, I bet that was
Check out
fun,
this
bro.
commercial. This is a real commercial, by the way. Go to this website at the end and check out the sources.
Got sound? You know that feeling you get when you smell your first cup of coffee in the morning? It smells like success, like a cheat code for life. Well, that's the feeling you get when you gig with Grind and Brew Productions. Grind and Brew Productions. Sounds so good you can taste it.
Shout out to Grind and Brew Productions. Thank you for sponsoring this video and every video, because that's Mr. Jason's company. If you guys watch the show religiously, you've probably seen Mr. Jason on here before. So if you have sound needs or lighting needs or production needs, AV stuff, check out Mr. Jason and Henry and Maddie and Travis and all those guys. They do excellent work. And getting back to hey, Beard, man, we're back on the air, dude. You know that, right?
Yeah, hang on. I just got up there.
I'm not trying to harsh your flow, man. If you're playing, you can talk. That's fine.
I can.
So speaking of the Nintendo, 1985, we had the American release of the Nintendo Entertainment System, which is clearly revolutionary in home entertainment, home video games, because the video game industry basically died before that. Like Atari was doing very, very well, and then the habit of putting out just crap game after crap game after crap game and then crappy consoles, crappy interfaces, crappy graphics. Everybody had enough because they're spending all this money, and they kind of peaked at things like Pac-Man and stuff on those systems. And everyone thought that video games in the home was dead. There was still a booming arcade industry in the 80s specifically. Aladdin's Castle got most of my money for a long period of time.
Yep.
And such things. So we'd go anywhere you went for a long time. You go to the bowling alley, video games. You go to the movie theater, there's video games. You know, you go to a Pizza Hut, there's video games. Everywhere in the 80s.
And they're bringing that back. I mean, we have arcade bars now.
Dude, I have said that the first sit down, fast, casual restaurant to bring back vintage everything wins everybody's money back. I think if Pizza Hut brought back a Pizza Hut that looked like a Pizza Hut, has video games, a jukebox, has a salad bar, has the pans. They serve you the slice.
Those red cups.
Yeah, give me the 100% 1987 nostalgic feel of going to a restaurant, and that's marketable. But
what would you name if it wasn't Pizza Hut? Like, what would you name that business?
Pizza Slut. I don't know, dude. I haven't thought about it.
Memories. all
Nostalgia
alone in the
by the
marinara.
slice.
But let's not get too far off Nintendo and video games in general in the 80s, because they weren't the only console that happened, but they were the first big boom for sure.
Right.
And hey,
share,
don't forget
and
to like,
subscribe,
share, and
please.
subscribe. I like how we respond to the sound of that now. Just don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.
That's just us getting better at our jobs.
Yeah, and that's one way.
As he plays a video game.
That's a sentence.
I'm killing this video
He's
game.
crushing
right
it.
How's he? Yeah, I mean, how's he doing?
He's on one. He just finished 1-3, heading to the first castle. I guess he chose not to warp so early. That's fine.
We
I
need to-
could
we
have
need to-
when I was in the dungeon. I did the sound.
we need to
Teach
add the
his own,
sound.
bro. Teach
we need
his
to add
own.
to the sound of the game to the podcast.
No,
want-
because that's the thing that's gonna get us.
Come
with
get
the,
us. Come
copyright.
get us.
Yeah, if I wake up tomorrow or wake up Wednesday with a
Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun.
copyright claim from Nintendo, I'll feel good about myself. So were you into Nintendo at the time?
I was.
Yeah, what was your favorite game?
Double Dragon.
One, the original or 2?
Yes.
The original.
Yeah, I like 2 a
I
little bit
also
better,
really
but I
like
like the
Double
first one a
Dragon
lot
for
too.
Super Nintendo too.
I was a big Nintendo fan, and not when I was a kid, but it's been now like 8 or 9 years.
Oh, we saw that. Pass the controller.
No, I became a collector for a while, for a few years. Hit reset so we get the demo. I guess it was about 8, 9 years ago before I had to sell my collection, but I was definitely really big on collecting. I don't know if either of you ever saw it. You saw it a couple times, right?
Yeah, you had probably one of the more substantial collections that I've actually ever seen.
It was
in my
impressive.
life.
Yeah, I was almost at half. I had almost 412. I think I had 412, 413 actual games, unless you counted copies.
This is a small example.
This
of
is not even my collection. Only the Zelda is mine from my early days. The rest of this is stuff that my
You
wife
didn't have
had.
to admit that.
I don't care, man. My collection was a thing of beauty, but it had to go. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, Nintendo is probably my favorite console of all time, but I don't think that it's the best console of all time.
I'll agree with that.
I think that PlayStation 2 is the best console of all time so far. I do like the PS5 though. It's pretty.
PS1 was
pretty
revolutionary.
Absolutely. I'm
I
not
think
saying
that,
it wasn't, but best.
PlayStation 2 is the best-selling console of all time.
I think that's the
PS5 is obviously the best.
I think
console.
that's when they
As
hit
far
their
as how they
marketing.
work, yeah, but I think the catalog, PS2 is probably the best.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
The
For
catalog was
catalog,
incredible.
sure, yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
PS5's got almost
Hey,
no
Beard.
catalog, dude.
Hey, Beard, real fast, man. I want to bring some attention to some of the graphics that we got going on in the room right now.
Look at that.
Ready,
your
set,
boy,
radio.
Yeah, your boy Floaty spent a lot of time doing some cool graphics for us guys. So while you guys are listening to us talk and stuff, pay attention to what's going on there, because he did some cool stuff.
It's definitely prettier than I am.
Reading Rainbow.
Oh, that's your opinion.
Hey man, are you trying to get us
Hey,
sued?
that's like that's
That's
like your
Ready Set
opinion,
Radio,
man.
sir. I'm all about full exposure. So if you guys look at this logo, the Ready and the Radio are the Reading Rainbow logo, but the and the word set and the word show are actually the Star Wars font if you look closely.
Yeah, so we can get sued by two different people.
Yep. I'm not scared of a mouse. I should be though. I really should be.
Should be very scared of the mouse.
That's a powerful effing mouse.
Because what you have to realize is it's not the mouse that has the teeth. It's the mouse's lawyers that have teeth.
You won't even see the mouse in court. Nope. All right, so Double Dragon. Did you have a favorite original system game? Do you have one? I know you didn't have it.
The
as a kid.
original Nintendo Mario 3 is my favorite.
That's a fantastic game.
Yeah.
I got that. I remember getting that for my birthday the year it came out, man, and like that's all I did.
Yeah.
I only had like 20 games when I was a kid, like maybe 22. But
Yeah.
when I got, what are you doing over there? He's like traffic controlling. Look at the screen. Look at the screen. Mario 3 is the best Mario game on the system, possibly of all time. There are some good ones on later systems. I felt that Mario 3, out of all the Mario games I've played till now, which is not many because I haven't played many on Switch, but it was one of my favorite two-player Mario games because Luigi didn't just totally suck. You know what I mean? Because like on Mario 1 or Mario 2, specifically Mario 2, Luigi sucked. His jump was horrible. It was hard to control.
Well, you know, yeah, but that was like the
But
very
his aim's
beginning.
good.
So like you had to give him a chance to
Too soon.
Man, I don't know if our laughter
Damn, guy.
condoned that action or
Yeah, no doubt. Thank you for listening to the Ready Set Radio Show. And if you're watching it, you might even be getting a little something extra.
We should just start announcing breaks to the audience so they could take a break too. Just go ahead and pause for 10, 20 seconds.
If you're driving, just stop the car. Don't care where you're at. We're on break!
Yeah. The day we can pull a commuter over is the day we've won. You know what I'm saying?
They said stop!
That's when we've really made it.
That was a long
JDubs,
joke,
that was a
sorry.
good one.
Little winded, but it works.
Yeah.
And so
Anyway.
Mario 3 was a good game.
Yeah, it was.
And my favorite game is Legend of Zelda. That's my favorite all-time game, but
Yeah.
for sure my favorite Nintendo game. If I had to say, man, a second place, it's got to be Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. I play that game all the time. I still play that game all the time.
It's a fun game.
I still haven't got to the point where I can sit down and beat it from start to finish. I've only beaten Mike Tyson once, but that was after typing in a code hundreds of times, and I've never gone straight through and beaten him. And that's kind of one of my bucket list items. It's like probably, it's the lowest one, but at some point in my life, I'd like to sit down and beat Mike Tyson's Punch-Out start to finish without dying or losing and having to go back.
Yeah, good luck with that.
It's hard, man.
It's a hard game.
What about Contra?
I love Contra.
I've beaten
That is my number 2.
If you want to sit down and beat Contra right now, let's go. I'm down.
That is my all-time number 2. All-time number 2 favorite video game.
Yeah, me too. It's a
What
great
was your
game.
favorite? What was your favorite gun blast? You know how they had like the machine
Spread.
gun, and
Yeah.
then they had the
Spread is the one that made it the easiest. Spread is always the way to go.
Yep. You get pissed when your friend grabs the spread. You know what I mean?
Have you played the new age version of it?
I have not played any of the 3D versions of Contra. But
I would love to play.
I would love to try one.
I didn't know they had those. Where
I
can
think they're making a new one, didn't they?
Yeah, they are actually.
We'll get that for PlayStation.
There's
Well,
also-
I understand they're making a movie.
Well, they can take that and whatever. But they've also made newer side-scrolling Contra games, and there's a newer side-scrolling Metroid game.
Really?
Yeah, man. I can't remember what it's called. Somebody in the comments, let me know. Help me out. What's the name of that new Metroid game that's side-scrolling? There's also a new 3D Metroid game too, but
Well, there's a few. My son is into Dogman, and that's a side-scrolling game.
yeah, I'm a big fan of side-scrollers, man.
Yeah.
I've always had a problem with first-person 3D games.
Did you? Here is a original Nintendo game that was a side scroller that was, I think, a little bit less known, but still one of my favorites of all time. River City Ransom. Did you ever play that one?
Good game, man.
That was
Very
a killer
good game.
game.
Actually,
Hell yeah.
I'm not familiar. Can you describe a little?
Oh man, it's a little more sophisticated than the original or even Mario 3 because it's 2D, but you could move up and down a little bit. So like there's a little bit of space that you could work in, and there was food you had to eat to replenish health, and it was some of they were some of the first ones to do some of those things, and there were stores where you could buy this food and
there was items and
there
things.
were weapons that you could use to beat down the street thugs, and
That's cool.
so it was kind of like Double Dragon in a little.
It was like
in a
Double
way.
Dragon meets Contra a little bit.
Yeah, but it was.
Sounds like with a little bit of Ninja Turtles
It
as
was,
well.
yeah, maybe
Yeah,
a little
all
bit,
those
but
games are kinda in the same
It was
vein.
one of
Yeah.
the first ones that I ever played that was that sophisticated.
Yeah, I've always liked 2D beat 'em ups, man. They're just fun games.
But it was
They
so
just-
much more sophisticated than just any
It
old
had
beat 'em up.
it was a
dude.
platformer too.
Because it had the fact that you had health upgrades that you could go and buy from a store, that you didn't just like, you could find upgrades anywhere in any game just about, but like this one you had to,
You could pick
what
it.
you were collecting was money, and then you would go and buy these things from a store.
Yeah, you could pick what you wanted.
And that changed everything to me.
Give him a shout out.
My beer?
Yeah, real fast. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I was trying to signal.
Oh
to
yeah,
Floaty.
we could sell it. It's not an actual. Like,
No, I was going to say thanks, Dave, for bringing us some brews.
for sure.
Yeah, on the show, man.
Oh, yeah,
That was
welcome.
nice.
I mean, we said thank you already, but
Yeah,
we
we
should
did.
absolutely do it
Put it
on
on the
air
show.
because, like,
Yeah.
Yeah, he was listening to a former
YouTube or it didn't happen or something.
I got you. So apparently David was listening to one of our Tuesday episodes that we had to film at
So
night.
not only is he a guest, but he's a fan
And
too.
he
I like that.
he saw the episode where I talked about Vorsteiner being my favorite brand of beer, and he brought some Vorsteiner for me.
And I said the same thing about Conceited Genius 2.0.
Yeah.
Now, I like it in draft, but we don't have a keg here, so
Yeah.
We're
brought me
working on
cans,
that. Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
just as
Coming
almost
soon.
just as
And,
good.
none of
I
these-
said that in that episode.
None
You
of these
knew it.
beer companies sponsor our show, but we are looking for a beer company to sponsor our show. So if you know one or you are one,
Yeah, no.
us up.
Wise Man's even local too.
Wise
Wise Man
Man's
Brewing.
great. Foothills is great. We drink
Here
a lot
in
of Foothills.
Salem.
Yeah, we drink a lot of Foothills. Drink a lot of Wise Man.
Yes.
We'd be very open to becoming loyal to anybody.
Or
We have no.
drink Bud
Yeah,
Light if you want to.
Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
We go to the highest bidder or the lowest. We
The
don't
best we
care.
can get is like O'Caffey, the distributor.
Sorry, I just wanted to bring that up. real
Doyle
fast.
rules.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had-
Doyle, we have a commercial. We need to play
Yeah, we
that.
probably should.
Yeah, I had planned on thanking him at the end, but thank you for reminding me because
Sorry.
I didn't type that part down. I would have forgot. Don't worry, I would have. But as soon as you said it, I was like, oh yeah, duh.
But let's travel back to the 80s. I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah, speaking of drinking Vorsteiner, man. So
Does anybody need
Metroid.
one?
Metroid. Yeah, because that's a whole bunch of sense. right
Metroid's
there.
a great game. I love that game. Oh man! So did you guys? Did you play all the systems? Was Nintendo your thing? Because it was mine. I didn't have a Sega Genesis until I was like 18.
So I didn't have a Sega. I had a friend that had one, and I went and played that. But I only had the I had the Atari, of course,
Yeah, I love my 2600.
and the Nintendo. And the next one I had was the PlayStation.
Which was a great system too.
It was.
I have not had every system that has come out.
No.
But I have straight up grown up with video games, continued to this day. I started with the original Nintendo. I had a Sega Genesis. I had a Nintendo 64. I had a PlayStation 2. I had a PlayStation 3. I had an Xbox. I had an Xbox 360. I had a PlayStation 4, and then I had a PlayStation 5. And like
That's almost all of them, dude.
almost.
That's all the worthy ones,
Yeah,
really.
but that's what I thought.
The
pretty
ones
much.
that stood the test of time. Like, you didn't need a Dreamcast. It didn't.
No, not really.
It was
or,
cool at the
or
time.
a GameCube or a Wii or a,
Right, yeah.
it was revolutionary for its time, but we didn't have the staying power. And,
No.
but like I think those are all the ones that pretty much like held down the period for video games of their time, and I've grown up with them, and I love
Real
some video
fast.
games.
I know it came out in 1990, Super Nintendo.
That was one I wish I had. I never did.
That
There was
my-
a game on Super Nintendo that I fell in love with, and it was a staple in our neighborhood of all the kids. There was two games that we had to have, and you had to be good at playing them. One of them was Zombies Ate My
Ate
Neighbors.
My Neighbors. Yes, sir.
Nice.
Second one was Ghouls and Goblins.
I hate
Nice.
that game. It's hard.
with the you get
Zombies
different-
Ate My Neighbors was a good one.
That game is so
Also,
hard.
Do you know
the
which
Double
one's-
Dragon from the Super Nintendo was always my
the
favorite
one where you had to find the different?
It was the only
plate
one that I ever
shields
beat.
and stuff like that. Yeah, really? You thought that was Ghouls and Goblins? You thought that was hard?
Oh, I'm thinking Ghost and Goblins. My bad.
Ghost and Goblins. Yeah.
Ghost and Goblins.
So
is
It
hard.
was you were the knight and you ran around and you found
Yeah.
different armor and different.
Well,
weapons.
it's the same character, but Ghost and Goblins was like earlier, arcade and Nintendo, and even I think it was a version on Atari. If I don't, maybe not. But Ghouls and Goblins was the Super Nintendo version, and then they had a part 2. It was called Super Ghouls and Goblins, I think.
You're right. Yep.
But that whole series is difficult, but the original one was insane. It's 2 hits, you're dead, and you have to start over.
Okay, if we're going to talk about difficult video games, let's talk original Nintendo Lion King.
You mean like Sega Genesis is when I played Lion King on?
You're right. My
and
bad.
Aladdin.
It wasn't Nintendo, it was Genesis.
Yo,
but
To be
Sega
fair,
had
okay.
some hard games. They had a game
Oh,
called
yeah.
Flashback. that-
Sega Genesis.
Dude, Sonic, their flagship game, was a hard game.
Yeah, their
Incredibly
pros of the Sega Genesis, like the speedy graphics and everything, were also a con in certain games. Like everything happening so fast all the time made things harder.
Yeah.
And Lion King is a hard game, but it's really just the Stampede level.
Yeah.
That level is insanely hard. And Aladdin is a hard game. And
Aladdin was one of my favorites.
And it's
too.
mainly the cave.
Yeah.
That getting out of the cave is a difficult stage, and in Lion King. But those
Echo
Disney,
the
all
Dolphin
those Disney
from-
games
from
had
Genesis
challenge.
was another one too.
Yeah, Little Mermaid, and it was the same kind of game, same company made them and whatnot. all those games had the same feel, and their difficulty curve was stupid.
Yeah.
Stepping out of the 80s, we're all gamers. What about the From Software stuff? Dark Souls?
Oh, yeah.
Now, see, you're
Lord.
talking about games. These
I love
motherfuckers sit in
those
a dark room at night and go out of their way to like, how are we going to make people?
Whoa! Can't say that on a podcast.
You're gonna have to bleep it. That's my
Bleep
bad. I
that
forgot.
out.
But like, those games piss me off so bad, dude. I hate.
I love
Everybody
those
be
games.
quiet.
Tune in next week for part 2, right here on the Ready Set Radio Show.